Your Excellency, President Prime Minister Sofia, Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the round table dedicated to the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome to Sofia University. It's a privilege for us to host this commemorative Europe will celebrate the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Rome, which established the European Economic Community as the beginning of an integration process on the European continent. Europe of today is a result of 60 decades of a constant process of development, accepting changes, and responding to new challenges. The European Union has developed a political and economic structure of 28 member states with the goal of preserving peace, ensuring progress and prosperity based on the common values of freedom, human rights and solidarity. As the European Union commemorates the signing of one of its most important treaties, it also faces enormous challenges threaten its unity and continuity. The ongoing refugee crisis, the strong crisis of anti-EU sentiment, and the loss of faith in the EU values. The challenges EU is facing today need our common political and intellectual effort to find an ultimate solution that will reflect the will of the European peoples to continue together for their own project, overcoming the difficulties and even carrying a more integrated Europe than a reduced version of it. This anniversary celebration should be an opportunity to reflect this and forge a new path for Europe. Young generations and educational institutions have to play a major role for the future of Europe by bringing new energy and fresh ideas to reform the EU in order to meet the expectations of European leaders. Allow me to thank you for your valuable participation in this event and that we wish you great success to the home. A pleasant stay in Sofia for you and future professional achievements for participants. And now I have the pleasure to pass the floor to His Excellency President Kliment.
Thank you to the Rector, Professor for hosting us for this wonderful place. But before introducing and describing what the round table is going to be like, I really want to thank the Deputy Prime Minister and Sofia who is here with us at the time, and because it's particularly important and significant to have their presence. So I'd like to invite them for a short address at our round table. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. Ohridski, dear Mr. Chief Rector of Sofia University, Your Excellency, dear guests, dear panelists, as one of the initial members of the EU, Italy has always had a special how much has been accomplished during these 60 years, and what is still left to be done. What legacy are we leaving to the future generation? And as it often happens in life, the answer to this question is not necessarily easy or perfect. I believe that the EU has aged well, 28 countries, and there were only 6 when it all started. Comprising an area of more than 4 million square kilometers with a population of 500 million people who enjoy the rights as EU citizens. The right to live, study, work, travel, wherever they want in the European Union. The right to be covered, the right to start a business in another country without fear, protectionism, no discrimination. The right to be protected as consumers by high standard regulation. The right to be covered by a healthcare system or to enjoy amount of pension and enjoy that they have at the moment. There is no doubt, however, that the European Union is a historical turning point, facing dramatic challenges both from inside and outside. New global powers are emerging, and the world order is shifting. The European economy is gradually recovering from the financial crisis, but this is not visible enough, nor is spread evenly. What is, however, perceivable by all European citizens are the terrorist threats and the refugee crisis we have faced in those last years. And on top of that, one of our member states is about to leave the Union, posing many questions on what our future is. Today, too many Europeans consider the Union as either too distant or too interfering in their day-to-day lives. They demand from the European Union to deliver practical solutions to the crisis we face, whether it be a financial, economic, cultural, or social one. Most importantly, they ask how the EU is improving their standard of living, and they expect a clear answer. In times like this, the EU needs strength and determination to keep unity and to better respond to the expectations of its citizens in the areas of security, economy, and social inclusion. Our leaders will have a unique opportunity in Rome later this month to simultaneously celebrate this remarkable anniversary and offer an ambitious vision on how we can preserve unity and achieve political consolidation. We need to reconfirm the principles of community approach, clear distribution of competences, and global cooperation. Solidarity and cohesion as horizontal principles in all our actions need to be reinforced. The responsibility and the contribution of each and every single member state to the achievement of the common goals should be visible, respected, and adequately reflected in our decision. I would like to add to my intervention with the powerful words from the manifesto for a free and united Europe. The road to pursue is neither easy nor certain, but it must be followed, and it will be. I wish you a successful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we will take the microphone and we will not leave it anymore. But I will see you because I'm here. Thank you very much for your words. Like I just picked up on what has been said. I heard yesterday, of course, the manifesto of the independent. This is nice time for me, and I think to most of us on this side of the table, and also to many others. And I think we will hear more about it. And I'm very glad that the quotation you used from the manifesto of the independent. Not only the 40s and the 50s and so on. And we have to keep in mind that maybe my next calendar, I will put in my next calendar for those who will die. So it's very cool. So now, of course, I'm Stefan Baldi, for those who don't know me, I'm the ambassador here. And I will briefly introduce what we're going to do today in this roundtable. What is my role, the role of panelists here, what is your role? Why am I doing all this? Why do we speak at this doing all this? Here in Sofia? Well, first organize a round table to have a discussion, to have a reflection, to have something to listen to. That's what. This is not a celebration. Not because there's nothing to celebrate. I think there's a lot to celebrate. But the point is that that's not many points, or at least of this one. It's not to say, well, 60 years, how many things happened. Yes, this will come up. The most important thing is that at a crucial point, and it was said already a couple of times, it's true, it's a crucial point. At the crucial point of the European path, we all have to do something. And I think what we can do as part of the table is just to tell our stories, to tell our opinions, and each one of the people sitting here with me has certainly a role or something to say about Europe, European idea, and I don't want to say European future, but certainly about how Europe could or would develop. So this is a discussion, and if I can make a quote myself, Juncker very recently said what should be done now everywhere. And he said rightly so. There should be an honest and concrete debate on what people really expect from the European Union. Honest and concrete. We are trying to give to do our arguments today. That's all. I mean, if you do this, I think it's already enough. And here, of course, I want to thank all those who took the time to come. Particularly the police. I know how busy life is, so thank you for sharing your time with us. I hope it will be useful, because we also, I think, even being very busy ambassadors, we have to take the time to think a little bit, not only to act. Action without thinking implications, and reflection and confrontation is always useful. This is a luxury for us, I know, but thank you for taking this time as luxury. Thank you for all the other participants, the junior diplomats from the Diplomatic Institute, junior gathering, of course, from the Diplomatic Institute here. I hope it will be extremely useful for you also as food for thought, as we say. Nothing more, but I think it's already a role. I will be structuring this in a very Nordic way, if I can, which means that I will try to give each one of them 10 minutes for the first round of intervention. Then there will be another short round of reaction to also what I've heard of 5 minutes, and then we will open up for question and answers. We will try to keep the time. I have something here which will read, and I will start looking at the people if they pass the time, so I should start looking at myself now. The idea is to finish anyway by 12, whatever happens. Even before if there are nothing else, but by 12 is the maximum. We are very video streaming, so I cannot say that everybody is watching us on TV or the web, but certainly we also have to respect who is watching and we should know what it is. Final thing I want to say is the idea of having a publication of this. So I'm saying this because I would like to get your texts of the rector and the deputy prime minister, I can say it before, if you don't mind. We will try also to keep it small. Also, those who have not been here afterwards to have an idea of what happened. All the panelists so this is the time. My only thing I would like to say before giving the floor to Raimundo Cangiano and say something about it, is just to share with you my idea of the 3 Ps. What has been achieved by Europe? Of course, here you can see already, we can use many peace, democracy, solidarity. I'm sure during the intervention will be many things. But we always have to find something which works, like sometimes. So I was thinking of the idea of the 3 Ps. And one P is already there, is peace, of course. The other one is P like prosperity, and the other P is progress. Can have more, but I think 3 Ps works. 70 to 60 years reaching this 3 Ps. And this should not take it for granted. And if I can end my short introduction, is I like very much this image that I found. It's very simple. So I want to share it with you, and it concerns peace. And this is a graph of what happened in terms of peace and war. You know, these major conflicts over regional members. Okay, between the 17th century and the 21st century. I think that speaks by itself. You see where the flag is, and which were always started. I think it's very relevant. It's one of the cases where one image is worth $1,000. So let me now say briefly two things about the bio, the use of those the history. I will not repeat some of the things we've done. I will only say one thing which is very personal, and he knows that I say it's personal because when I introduce him. He has been always a great point of reference for many young people in Italy, students on European studies, on federal history, on studies to be done on conferences, because he has introduced us, and I am one of them, to this idea of many years ago when we were studying at university. This kind of in the university, in a particularly prestigious university, because I think that's where we have to invest for the future. I know that I say nothing new, but this is true, and it has to be concrete actions. So, and I know a long time ago, a lot of work with the manuals, a lot of patient work, they introduced us to many things, and now I'm here, many other friends, they really have lots to recognize with him. So I didn't invite him because of the recognition, I invited him because he really knows, and he lived a lot of this history, and of course I like to see. So I invited him for this reason, and of course everybody will be free to say whatever we want to say, but I already agree with him that maybe if there's a certain focus, it could be he could just talk a little bit more on some, on how the spirit of the initial founding fathers has changed in time, and how the federalist idea was true 60 years ago. It's completely evolved. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation. As I have only 10 minutes for 60 years, I enter immediately my task, and I would like to tell you that we have to insert a little bit of solid dimension in our leader thinking of the history of Europe. We have today, and as the minister said, quite rightly, will have a point of reference next 25th of March in Rome. It's a debate apparently without alternative, between pessimist and optimist, between pro-Europe and anti-Europe, between more Europe or less Europe, and so on. We are in the university, impressive, because impressive is more than we can talk about our role, and the arguments today debates are the same, it's the same debate in the substance that elevated our founding father more than 60 years ago. In fact, we celebrate the 25th of March, the 60 years from the signatures of the Treaties of Rome. But like humans, also European Union had 9 years, not months, of pregnancy before the treaty. And in these 9 years, there was a hard confrontation among different views this construction, of this building, which was in existence at the time, the largest part of the young people today present here, no European Union has existed. For many of us, the European Union didn't exist and then was constructed. For them, nothing was present at the time. But the debate was very hard, and it was very hard on three pillars, two traditions, and one new also at the time. The traditional was what we call today, looking at the next common market, the next European Union, the next communities, the next whatever, in terms of intergovernmental cooperation. There were important leaders, and there were important minds. The local area found the pan-European movement immediately after the First World War, and created interparliamentary union in the same years in which Altiero Spinelli, Ernesto Rossi e Eugenio Colombi, the fascist regency in Ventotene, were writing the manifesto, which was, at contrary, the federalist view, which was another way to look at the discussion view. With Altiero Spinelli, in other parts, especially France, there were federalist movements starting inside the socialist family, the Christian Democrat family, the non-conformist family, they call it this way, Benito Richemont, Manuel Bonnier, and others, and Switzerland, obviously. And the Hague was a very important conference in which service to church launched at that time, for the first time, the political design of the United States of Europe after a brilliant speech in the Zurich University 1 year before on the same topic. The federalist attitude, the intergovernmental attitude, and the new entrance in this debate, Jean-Marie and Robert Schuman, we had a role upon this time as young people, as young institutions, introducing what we call today and produce the creation of a lot of movements, political movements, and produce also the creation of a lot of institutional experiences. It was not only the Europe with Treaties, it was the Europe with many states. And you know all the history, the time is too short, but not this year of the different international organizations were created before the European Union was born among the 6 founding countries because of the founding fathers. I mentioned some others, obviously Adenauer, obviously Gasperi, obviously Schuman, but the original movement was launched in Western Church, and then the British at the time were pushing in this direction, but with the foreign governments, their attitude to Strasbourg was different, as you probably know. See that today it is not exactly exit, but it is to have another vision. All these visions were compatible, and the great idea of the federalist theory at the time, the confederal theory at the time, and the independent theory at the time, whatever the names were chosen to define, was that in name of what they call the subsidiarity, which is a word specifically European, of institutional country, to distribute the power according to the problem of the different levels of the European experience, according to that, they have different view on how to build such a construction. And it's not strange that the first community was distinguished for community because of the roots of the wars, difference between France and Germany and so on, but Europe, the new energies at the time, the alternative energies, and the common market, the economic dimension. On this experience, the practical approach was in fact to proceed, and this practical approach gave birth to the European Union at that time in Panama. This experience was very practical, and we have example along the 60 years of life, the European Union, of the bioequivocal alternative, of the prevailing, of the intergovernmental approach, the communitarian approach, the federalism. We have now recently the federalist approach prevailing in 1979 for the first time elected directly with the European Parliament, transforming it from a national to the European Parliament. We have this experience in 1993 and then in 2003 with Europe. We have the intergovernmental approach with agricultural policy, for example, which is the main common policy we have. We have the communitarian system with the Erasmus experience, the Schengen experience, and accompanying this prevailing of free confusions. And the Maastricht Treaty in 1984, in particular, with the adoption of the European Parliament of Spinelli's proposal for the Treaty on the Union, this was one of the targets. The next one will be a few days in March, when the new declaration about the strategies and the future of the Europe will be presented. And with scenarios trying to make compatible with three approaches today. And the experience of Europe shows but I respect the knowledge of people who work in Europe and for Europe. Other side of the thing, this is compatible with the construction of our common house. And this common house is that house where in the first part, in the last sentence, nobody in the world had in mind to enter the Union. Nobody in the world had in mind to come to Europe in the first part of the last sentence. And I'm not obliged to report you why. But in the second part of the sentence, because of the threat, this was possible. And now the part of the world where the largest part of people in the world had in mind a site where it's possible to live according to the current standard of human rights and so on. This is not a reason to be satisfied. This is a reason to be unsatisfied. But we have to remember first that there was a Europe without children, of young people that would never know this. We know it, and we have to remember. But now we have a Europe where Europe exists, and we have to work in it, and as far as possible, we have to work for improvement. And this is what I will try to do in the next round. Thank you for this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your intervention, for giving us a better perception of history and what it means. I have to say myself that we should know more and look differently. But it's very important. When we say, when we use certain words like the concept today, it seems the first time, or something new. It's not the first time, something which has been there, right and short. When we say, you know, and I say to myself, it was crucial. This is not the first time that the EU is a crucial process. It's true. So, of course, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be engaged in this. No, this is not about disengagement. It's about giving, considering that very moment we are living, not the only moment of something which is fortunately now for 60 years, even before, even more, because it started far ahead. And of course, the fact that you said that in the first part of the century, nobody would imagine or think of lasting of such a period. Well, this should put us into the responsibility to make that in 50 years' time, we will still be in this situation and not thinking that this was a parenthesis, because we like this parenthesis, the white one there. We all like it. not like maybe, it's just facts. But now, this, I want to comment on, slow down to anybody, and it's my pleasure now to get to our second panelist. I'm sure it will be as interesting as the first one in terms of giving us an idea of the thought, as I said before, because it's so interesting. For everybody, gathering there and I to explain it, it's so interesting. Of course, I had to reduce the biographical rights of the many things he has done in the past and is doing now. You will feel it there, but certainly what I want to underline is enthusiasm for a long time and with the same effects. It's not a given. And the second thing that I want to get something to say is he was there when 10 years ago he negotiated the access, and I think he did something which is historical for his country, the accession to the EU. So for this and many other reasons, I think we have from him. Of course, if we speak about everything, we will, because you are allowed, as I said, but certainly it would be interesting to know something about some specific, more specific issues, but main issues like immigration or even transatlantic relations, which are two of the many issues that we have here. But again, I leave to you. You have your first statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And I would like to formally thank the University of Ireland for the issue and Sofia University, which is my university, with my father, with my grandfather, with my wife, for hosting this event. Indeed, I went to the calendar, what happened on this day 3 years ago. And the first thing which I would like to underline, that you are not only for Bulgaria, but for the whole world, I would say, not only Bulgaria. This is the song that day, 74 years ago, Bulgarian Jews were present for being sent to the concentration camps. And this is a great achievement of the Bulgarian state, the Bulgarian parliament, the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, the Bulgarian king, of the Bulgarian people. And I would very much look forward to receive your support in that respect. Another thing that happened was some 65 years before the initial date, 1600. This is indeed the fight that Paris Island was discovered by Charles Darwin. And no one believed that this would boost the imagination in the national and non-national and social sciences as well. And another thing that happened more or less 12 years ago is that Mark Zuckerberg left Harvard University to work for Facebook. And I saw that Harvard was planning to give him his diploma without finishing the university. So I wanted to wish the professor of the faculty to have a chance to have such students who could get the diploma without finishing the university. And also, because this is an important thing for all of us, I would like very much to welcome the motion ambassador here, because again, as the legacy for the president of the European Union. And I believe very well certain formally welcome benefits was welcome, because I put my neckline, this orange neckline, which is the one which I signed on the 10th of April 2005, and Dutch ambassador and I are always working with the Dutch for the Luxembourg time, and all this is the Luxembourg time. I have checked it very carefully. We were trying to speak about some philosophical questions that Ambassador Kahn will principle. Reading very carefully through this paper, I see that there is one trivial aspect which became very popular in Bulgaria, and one non-trivial aspect which did not become popular in The trivial part is that we rushed to the unexpected, unbelievable debate about the European speeds. The speeds are the most natural phenomenon in the development of the world. They're the most natural actually area right now in the United Nations. We have the speed of the Security Council, the speed of the Security Council. We have G20, which is the World Trade Organization, OSCE. All these are speeds of the United Nations. Inside NATO, we have also speeds. We didn't have France and Spain for quite some time within the organization of NATO. One after the vote then joined, but France did not join the nuclear group of NATO, which again gave a different speed of relation. This does not mean that France is not better than is not excellent member of NATO. This is a different speed, and this is national. I tried to count the different speeds of the European Union as they exist today. Speed number 1 is the European Union as such. Speed number 2, the Eurozone. Speed number 3, Schengen. Speed number 4, the Council of Europe. Speed number 5, European Free Trade Association. Speed number 6, European Economic Area. Speed number 8, speed number 9, European Space Agency. Speed number 10, Eastern Partnership. 11, Visegrad. This 12, Benelux. This 13, we can put it in the Baltic, the North, Scandinavia, and all the corporations and so on. Number 15, the Barcelona process, the Mediterranean cooperation. And after that, we can put 4 or 5 more areas in which we have intense cooperation, which means that Bulgaria, in one way or another, already participates in 20 different speeds of the European Union. So, speaking of all these speeds, I'm getting completely lost. Obviously, people who understand the European topic do not understand why we're talking about speed, and people who do not understand the European topic also do not understand why we talk about speed. So, let us close talk about the speed and say something and summarize. Bulgaria cannot stop any of these speeds, but Bulgaria should join as many as possible of these speeds of integration. But if I want to return the topic back to the square one, back to the origins of Bulgarian modern Bulgarian democracy, I would like to quote the first re-elected president of this country, President Jelin, who said in just 6 words a slogan which is still a slogan for the development of Bulgaria, and it is Bulgaria, member of all European structures. As simple as that. Bulgaria, member of all European structures. Of course, we're not going to join Belarus, don't be afraid of that, but we have some other things which are to present. Thank you. I have 2 minutes for the second round.
Thank you very much for presenting that. I like very much the way we share the numbers. Again, if I can say just one comment, it's about use of words. Their communication is that after having a chance to analyze it, it's key, more than that. This we can say. And the use of words is never neutral. So, when we use speed, as you said, some people just normal. But there are plenty of people, including investors, who are going to use, who are using this for different purposes. So, speed now is becoming like, you are A, I am B. This is the problem, and that's completely wrong, as you rightly put it. I'm very glad I quote my Prime Minister, not only because it's my Prime Minister, because I think he put it during the discussion side in a different way, which can also be misused. But he talked, of course, of different level of integration, as you rightly said. So if you say already, instead of speech, you say different level of integration, it already sounds better, but it's not much of a difference at the end of the day. So it really gets to the point where those who really want to do something for one way, for one reason or another, it's up to them. But it's up to us to explain what the situation is, and I think that's what we're doing. And not be afraid of words or concepts. But instead, as you said, let's focus on non-trivial things, and that will be the second part of your opinion. Thank you for pointing out. Now we get to our third point, and the third issue will not be less than the first two, which were extremely brilliant and thoughtful, which is in the professor English. Again, you can read a lot of what she's done in the paper that we gave you. Again, with her, if I can say, well, first of all, my point is when I worked here and I got to know who's dealing with EU, studies and research, and then you get from many people, and then many times it gets focused on English. So, Vox Populi, Vox Dei, so there must be a reason, and of course the reason is that she has been dealing and working on this for a long time with great skill, with great knowledge, and also with great, again, enthusiasm and passion. And this makes a difference once you try to follow an idea. I would say even an ideology. This was not a bad word nowadays. European Union can be also an ideology. So, and she's dedicated very much, so much of her life to studies, to young people. And she also, I'm sure you have Stefan about it among your people who are very devoted to the So we have many reasons for being here, and really thank you very much for accepting this invitation to be honest. And of course, she will have all the opportunities to describe to us how it really became a reality, if I can say so, and we have to keep this reality. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Ambassador Rocky, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First, thank you very much for Ambassador Rocky. It reminds me, I have a grandson. When he was about 6 years old, I asked him, do you know what is the European Union? Then my first reaction was to start to explain that I'm not a European Union. I'm better. But I thought a little bit, and I said to myself, but it's right. And I thought, no, yes, it's true, I'm the European Union. You are the European Union. Your mother and your father are the European Union. We all are the European Union. And if we understand that, then I think it will be easy to make European integration in Europe. First I'd like to thank Ambassador Rocky for his enthusiasm and inspiration for this event. But to answer the question of the title of this roundtable, it's a very difficult question. Maybe what's certain is that Europe is a lady. It is well known that the ladies prefer to have the exact year of birth. I think with Europe we are so-called baby boomers. And we were born after the Second World War, maybe in 1951, let's say, when the Treaty of Paris was signed. But frankly said, I would prefer to get the age of Erasmus program, which is the most, as you Europe is young because Europe has a future, and this is also very important. I don't want to talk today about crisis and all these everyday topics of all this, very important. As Conrad Adenauer said, looking in the past is important if it serves the future. And I want to share with you only 4 lessons from the past. First of all, it's a big risk to invite a university professor to talk only 10 minutes. It's almost impossible. Lesson number 1 is about peace and democracy, or the desire to live together. Because this is the most important one. For my generation, I see a lot of young people here. You should know that for my generation, European Union means end of Cold War, falling of Berlin Wall, end of long and, I must say, humiliating lines, queues at the doorstep of the Western embassies in order to get a visa. I remember I was waiting at the doorstep of the Italian embassy in order to go immediately for a meeting of the European movement. But it's history, probably. We should not forget this. Really, the European Union is the most incredible peace project in the world. Now, we say, but peace will not serve as a glue holding the European Union together. Yes, we have some other, let's say, thoughts nowadays about security, about keeping the borders, but we should. Second lesson is about trust and loyalty. Ladies and gentlemen, European integration is like love. Of course, we need first a desire to be together, but also to remain long and strong. Love needs 2 things. Which are these 2 things? Yes, trust, mutual trust. First. Second, compromise. Of course, acceptable compromise. This is what I would say the main principle of European integration. And if we remember how the European community was established, it was not in the atmosphere of trust or the contrary. In fact, the European community led to trust, to negotiations among the Member States. And it was very important because after the Second World War, it was a little room for any sympathy when at the beginning, let's say, this European integration started. Unfortunately, the so-called money crisis eroded this confidence in the world. I teach my students that loyalty is one of the main principles of European integration. That if a decision is taken, let's say, Brussels, and you go back, you should implement it. But now, unfortunately, the practice is a little bit different. We simply break the rules. Lesson 3. Lesson 3 is about solidarity and responsibility. What we learned is that solidarity is not charity. Solidarity is a contract. And every part should fulfill its obligations. If we follow the process of European integration, we will see that solidarity was related to so-called liberalization and redistribution. Every big project was related to this. Let's remember the revival of the structural funds in the 88. It was the public supermarket. After that, we had territorium in Europe are not in interest neither the rich nor the poor countries. That solidarity is, I think, is very important. Of course, solidarity should include responsibility. And that examples from the recent crisis, that responsibility is also very important. Lesson 4, maybe one of the most important. Lesson 4 is about vision and dreams. My experience in following the progress of the European integration shows that the European Union is effective when it has a clear vision, a goal, and timetable to perform it. This is the approach of Jacques Delors, and we know that the Commission was very successful. Clear vision, clear goal, timetable. This is what but we need also the political will of the member states, not only the white paper of the European Commission. And vision is really a key issue in the European integration. Of course, we should invest in the European Union, which invests in our citizens' needs, but also I think in our citizen dreams, because, dear ladies and gentlemen, life is not only needs, life is also dreams, and we need these dreams. I quote this very often to my students. I quote Antoine Saint-Exupéry. If you want to build a ship, yes, I can. Don't bring people together to collect wood. Rather, teach them to dream for the endlessness of the sea. It means that in this post-truth politics, the age of post-truth politics, when populists play with emotions of people, the European Union should be more, let's say, emotionally seducing project. We need really to win the hearts of people. And I would look now the former Italian finance minister, not only writers and poets, Tommaso Padoa-Schioppa, who said Europe should not only persuade the brains, it should again win the hearts. And to conclude, with the quote of Jim Warren, a participant in Marshall. He said, he explained the success of Marshall, and he said, we had a goal, we had fire in our bellies, we worked like hell, we had tough discriminating, and we put program, strive for, and see results. I think this is what we need right now. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I hope I'm not the only one.
Thank you very much for such for her message, and also for showing that dreaming is not doesn't mean daydreaming. It's something we have to use for our brain, as you said, for our heart. The big problem, I think, in moving emotions is that we should try to avoid that from the heart sometimes, for several reasons, things goes to the belly. Because then if you go to the belly, where some people, some groups are now trying to do, then all things goes upside down, and it gets, not clear. So again, I think the dream aim at something. You have to construct, building, say building, don't want to destroy. And now we get to the last and I immediately found the right person in the right place. It's not up to me to say, but I am in space, so I can say for my little mind and I'm very glad to see that the Commission is so well represented here. Because it's important to stay together, it's important that institutions are made by people, and the people as a people, they make a difference. So his knowledge of the country, his passion for the ideology, and also his knowledge of communication, which is very important to me, and it's part of what we should. That's what we are also doing today. So again, he's also a very partner in this time of what we are discussing now. So I'm just leaving the floor for 10 minutes. Of course, you have plenty of things to say on what institutions are doing. And it was already mentioned, very important part, there are so many things going on. I think it really will.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's of course an easy task to speak to us on the panel, especially after the impressional speech by Professor Schiegel. By the way, for perhaps some of the special international guests in the room today, I'd like to comment. We were talking about founding fathers of the European Union, but I'd like to especially mention the founding mothers of the Bulgarian integration, in the case of Professor Schiegel and Professor Benishina. I think we should be that will really dedicate all their lives to the European idea. I prepared that 15-page speech, which I'm not going to read, of course. I want to start with a little personal story. 28 years ago, together with the rector of Sofia University, Professor Ohridski, we were in the same room here, receiving our graduation degrees from Sofia University in the Department of Classics, and we were asked to give a brief interventions here. And just imagine this was the summer of 1989. Nothing was even looming here in Bulgaria. Probably just began to. So just imagine what kind of vision for the future a young graduate will have. These 28 years are like almost half of the period under the EU that we are starting today with. And of course, at that time, I would say that none of enough people at my age at the time were thinking about the values of the EU. By the way, Stefano has all mentioned peace, and which of course is probably forgotten these days, not only in Bulgaria but also in other member states. Today we tend to forget that the European Union was a project for peace, As we speak today, we're celebrating as Paul mentioned, the anniversary of the Bulgarian rescue of the Bulgarian Jews. And if I'm allowed in this line of thought to quote Ohridski, he said that mankind must remember that peace is not God's gift to his creatures. Peace is our gift to each other. I think this is something very important that we should all remember time and again, especially in the troublesome years that we live today. European Union exists nowadays, of course, in much different shape than it was when it was, how to say, designed some 60 years ago, even 40 years ago. It works because and through its institutions, and its institutions are producing ideas or directions which were evolved these days. As this was already mentioned, this is now the passion, his vision, reflecting his passion, his vision on military growth. It is really very important that this document appeared in the eve of very important for all of us events. I mean, the celebration of the 60 years of the Rome Treaty, but also the moment when we have one of our members expected to submit their written intention to leave the Union. So, the really is debate in which everybody participates, not only politicians, but many citizens. Which way to go? Since its presentation on the 1st of March, I've been able to speak on different media and participate already in several important debates organized, by the way, by the civil society organizations. And we're very much looking forward to next week when we're going to get another one, thanks to our good friends and partners on Europa. Here in Bulgaria, I think for most of the citizens there is this vision that again this document is something set in stone that somebody wrote in somebody anonymous wrote in Brussels. And we have to pick one of the, in this case, proposed 5 scenarios. Of course, this is not true. I would like to once again use this opportunity to reiterate that the proposed 5 scenarios, the proposed document is actually encouragement for starting this debate and getting it structured, getting it to the vision that we need to achieve something. Not only saying that each of the member states should pick up one of those 5 scenarios to approve them. It would be 6 scenarios, the one that nobody thought about. That's why this is the opportunity for each of the member states, including Bulgaria, first of all, really make its voice heard at the European arena. Because so far what we hear, when I meet somebody in the street and ask them, when I tell them the European Union, what will be of course the reaction, and he or she will say, free movement, structural funds, Erasmus, which is so nice. But this is kind of the perception on the passive side, not on the proactive side. And I think this is where, here especially in Bulgaria, when we conduct all these debates, we should focus on this precisely to encourage people to step up. Now we know that we're in an election situation, and I think especially for Bulgaria, this is a very good moment, in my opinion. Bulgarian politicians seize the opportunity and talk to their potential electorate. How do they see future Bulgaria's place in Europe? Because there is no doubt that the place of Bulgaria is Europe. And this is not the point we should be making all the time. Who speak, what we speak, whatever. Nobody talks about speech. Even in the document there is nothing said about speech. And this is something that perhaps there are politicians that would like to see like this, but it's not true. This is not the spirit of the debate. So I will conclude here. We'll leave some more time for the second round and for discussion. I would like to say that the European Union was created 60 years ago and it's here to stay. And I'm sure it will stay. And for so long, I was talking about neckties. I also necktie skill.
We will go quickly to the second round of that.
Thank you once again. I will try to raise in the second round two points. The first one is the institutional implications of what we are now expressing in our introductions. Also according to the scenarios we have. And this comes back to the questions of speed. Europe with two speeds or more speeds is an idea which was created in Europe at the time of the creation of the common external tariff for the European Union first, and then for the monetary union. At that time, there was one goal, the external trade tariff or the European currency. One unique goal and several different approaches. This is a difference of speed on the same road. Today, my preference, my inclination is to delete the word speed and to speak about goals, aim of the European Union, because today we can have different goals inside the same house, having the necessity of speed. The difference is not the unique goal, we have more. Different goals, different institutions. People reaching for more union desire to have a minister of European economic affairs in a European government approved by the European Parliament with a unique budget, federal budget, and possibly in the short future with a unique fiscal policy. This is a goal which demands choice. But it's possible to consider the existing Eurozone without this, with a different speed. The same is true for migration policies. Another time to go with this chart. The energy, the environment policy, the human rights, and so on. We can have different aim compatible with democratic European standard, current standard, and this means much. The next institutions are needed. This is what we are waiting in this application, the 25th of March from the Summit of Rome. We need different institutions, always democratic institutions. If we would like to move on, then we can ask for different institutions according to the existing treaties, or reform two different goals, again, different speeds. But different levels of integration are perfectly combined, are perfectly compatible in actual existing European Union. And I'm in favor, as I said, this one, but I'm perfectly convinced the choice of another group, another country, to look not at the same, but at the different perspective. Now we discuss about the cities, but I would like to give a look, a very short look at the future. In the past, one of the very weak points of the European Union has been in the 60 years the factual and the real political position of Europe in the world. If we go around the world, many of us are accustomed to travel a lot, knows very well that it's very easy for Asian, for African, or Latin American people to identify us as European. For us, it's easier to say I'm Italian, French, and British. Outside is different. Europe is different. But Europe has not, at the same, has not been in these 60 years at the level which been inside the Union with the Turkey. The new orientation in the States, especially according to security and defense, in which you can have different goals, peace. But also the different political attitudes, a new role, a new approach of the present security. And this is my opinion, is a big change, a real challenge, especially in the Mediterranean area, but not only, on which probably new institutions, the new people, new young people, who know only Europe in Europe, not Europe in the world, this I think is a challenge that we have to move forward. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now, Tom, 7 minutes.
Well, thank you, Stefano. I think I mentioned at the beginning that non-trivial aspects of the white paper, and if this white paper was published in 2015, when it was originally designed, I would say that this is a visionary paper. This is something good to follow. But today, there is something which the most important thing is that it does not define which is the major problem it solves. It is like a makeup. I will put my makeup today, but what is the problem that I will solve with this makeup? I need a much more serious problem to solve for the day than with my makeup. There are two major problems which I would outline for the European Union. One is immediate, the one is immediate term. Immediate and medium term. The immediate problem for Europe is the migration. This is something that we need to face immediately with common European policy. We cannot solve this problem country by nation by nation. We need a common European approach. And I would suggest that we think of a plan of 5 points, which could give a comprehensive, holistic approach to migration. First, we need to focus on the sustainable UN 17 goals. 17 UN sustainable goals. This is something that will make Africa and the rest of the world, two parts of the world, much better place, and so we will discourage people to want to leave. The second thing is that we can help all these people who anyway would be interested to migrate. We can expect in the next years 1 billion people from Africa who want to migrate to Europe. What we can do for them, we can try to adapt them. How to adapt them? Well, we can encourage our companies, our businesses to export their productions there. It's like the Africa, the other things that are not the Johnson could be positively encouraged to open their productions in northern Sub-Saharan Africa. Number 3, we need sort of common denominator for selection of migrants. We cannot accept everybody. It is mathematics. It is not a religion. If we have a village of 1,000 people, it cannot accommodate 10,000 migrants. But a village of 1,000 people would smoothly accommodate 10, 15, or 100 people. So, we need selection. And I see here ambassadors of Algeria, of Palestine, of Lebanon, of Syria, of Egypt. We have educated a number of their students in Bulgaria. The first thing is to say, you guys know perfect Bulgaria, you are doctors, you are architects, you are professionals, you're most welcome to come back to Bulgaria if you're in a position to migrate. I see here also the ambassador of Azerbaijan, who do not have people from Azerbaijan who apply to come to Bulgaria, if they want to be also Number 4 is integration. The people who come to our countries need a positive program to be integrated in society. And finally, we need to enhance security. Here comes the question about walls. Do we need walls or we don't need walls? But the wall is not a So this is about the migration. The other aspect, which I mentioned is military, not military. This is transatlantic migration. The Atlantic Charter was signed in 1941 in the Mid-Atlantic by Roosevelt and Churchill. This is the Atlantic Charter, and unfortunately we cannot imagine that today the United States and the UK will sign such a document to become the driving engine for the transatlantic relationship. We need alternative solutions. One of the alternative solutions is proactive policy of the European Union towards the United States. One of the big problems of the United States is that only 10% of the American citizens, this statistics I haven't checked this morning, sorry, it was not correct, absolutely correct, but it exists. 10% of the 10% of the American citizens have a passport. It means that only 10% of them are traveling. This is a big problem that the Americans do not travel. And we as European Union can do something proactively in order to change this. Number two is Canada, and this becomes a major pillar of the transatlantic link, but we need also a new solution. A new solution would be Latin American countries, and Cuba is one of the great candidates for that. Cuba today is more or less in the situation we put on air was in 1986, 87 or 89. We can think of Cuba as a potential leg of the transatlantic region and possibly invite Cuba to become to cooperate with NATO. They talk about I know that the Americans will not permit us to cooperate with us. My answer was look at the Canadians. They say that NATO is their protection from the United States. And another Latin American country which seems very interested and very prospective to establish such a bridge between the two continents. This is Colombia, and Colombia is starting a very active cooperation with NATO, but I think that it has this under the umbrella of the European Union as well. Colombia and Cuba could be regarded as a future extension of the transatlantic link, which needs strengthening and rehabilitation.
Extraordinary tools and use this crisis for really people do not see, let me see what is in English exactly. People only accept change when they are faced with necessity, and only recognize necessity when a crisis is involved. I think the problem is not less Europe, more Europe, than Europe. We need effective Europe with European answers to the main problems. European, we have problems, let's say with security, we need European border control, we need European police, etc. And I think this is very important also to focus on big things and really important questions. So much short and missing. I remember we discussed with my Italian colleague who was one of the founders of so-called Southern International Information Program. I remember President Juncker, who was in fact president of the Federal Council of some years ago, before being president of the European Commission. And on one of our meetings, he said, we know what to do, but we don't know how to lead the next elections. And this is also one of the problems. What else? I think that Europe needs four things now. Ability to adapt quickly to the new realities in the world. Ability to compete, because we are not alone in the world. Ability to be flexible, and ability of comprehensive thinking. We need strong institutions, clear vision, and great decisions. Of course, political leadership. This is also something very, very important. For example, we need decisions on investment, on growth. Why not have a big plan for youth? Not only Erasmus, but really big plan, not only so-called initiative for youth, but really big plan, jobs, education, good minorities, and really have results from this plan. What else? Do I have minutes? Stop. Okay. Nobody mentioned the Balkans. I think that stop the enlargement and give such a signal that we stop the enlargement is better. Balkans are very important for Europe as a whole, for the European Union, and I think that really in the future European Union should think more about the Balkans. And to end, few words for Bulgaria. We will give you 1 minute, Ambassador. Bulgaria should really have a very clear vision of the future, not to focus on this to speak, not to speak by economic and spiritual. I call this policy of smart integration. We have smartphones, we have smart cities, we need smart integration, smart policy. To think, work, formulate the vision, and formulate the Bulgarian interest, and also our obligations as a member of the European Union. And with something which already was said, but I'm trying to say in the original. La via del recorrere non è facile, di sicuro, ma deve essere percorsa e lo sarà.
It sounds very good. I like this idea of this mind integration. It's a good concept. Oh yeah, 5 minutes.
Sir, example that we are representing, we in Europe are representing the foreign share of the world population. In relative economy, we are claiming to say that we are the biggest single market in Europe. But if you look at the world GDP, in 2030, we will be represent 20% of the world GDP, and today we are 22%. So the trend is negative. Euro is a global currency, as we know, but we have also competition in this one. Europe wants to regain its role as a world player in the international arena. There were certain signs in the recent years where only because of the leading role of Europe, the European Union, such important achievements, such important international documents have been signed. I refer to the one in Paris in COP21 on the climate change, as well as the deal with Iran. But this needs to be enhanced. Professor Chico mentioned, of course, the real big problem with youth and youth unemployment. We are really having people lost, precisely because of the lack of perspectives for the young people. And this is also where we should really invest in time and developing policy. That's why I'm coming back now to the white paper. That's why this document was produced, precisely to provide the platform for debate. As President Juncker mentioned during the presentation of the white paper in the European Parliament 8 days ago, 9 days ago, we are not in like in another country where the leader of the country puts an executive, writes an executive order and we follow. In Europe, we discuss and we debate. I don't see a problem with this personally. If you go back in history, plus by background, this is an achievement. This is something that has been used back in the ancient times in ancient Greece and Rome. And I think we should really use this quality laws of us Europeans in joint discussions to find the best solutions for us. Thank you very much.
So now, I promise we will finish that growth, but I also made the way that we have 15 minutes or 14 minutes to watch, to have some questions and answers. So I give it to you, any kind of observations, we are open to that, that part, but this was rewarding already listening. Okay, the first question down there, there is somebody with a microphone.
Thank you. I would like to draw your attention to the white paper, and I would like to address the question to Ms. Shikova. Which one of the 5 scenarios do you consider the most appropriate for our country?
Let's be moderated. All the questions are for the panelists, of course.
Maybe Organizer is better position to answer
scenario in which, let's say, every country decides how to continue. There are three conditions for this so-called Balkans Europe in order to be successful and not to be hard. The first one, we need some member states which are ready to go further in deeper integration. Second, we need, and also their citizens should be ready, let's say, to accept this, very electorate. Second, integration of political union will be established. It could be not only, let's say, defense or migration, it could be, let's say, because we are at the university, it could be research. Sometimes we decide to be, let's say, to have a union of joint research. Third condition is the way or the method or the model or the structure of this cooperation. In this particular slide, Angela Merkel called it differentiated cooperation. Not multi-speed, whatever, and I think this word multi-speed will not exist in the declaration. Rome. If Rome, a baby should be born, the name of the baby should be unity and not multi-speed. And I think you will not see the word multi-speed. That I for the scenario, I should say thank you. But I think the most probable is the third one, because some countries want, some countries do not want, some countries can do something, some countries cannot. I think it is sort of inevitable evil within the this mindset.
Thank you. Anybody wants to know something? Someone wants to add something on this?
Okay. It is an interesting question. I mentioned migration and you mentioned demography and economic growth of the European Union. Each of these scenarios is irrelevant. You cannot make an abstract ideal European Union. There is no such angle. You have to define what is the urgent problem to solve. Maybe if migration is closely related to demography, and if we put together the demography, migration, and economic growth, this is a cluster of problems that we may prioritize to solve. And if we agree that this is the thing to solve, then we have to take this one or this that. But at the end of the day, it will be something quite different from each of these lines tonight. And I would very much like to focus your attention on something that I have just read on the road, the confidence in institutions in the European is much higher, A, from the confidence elsewhere, and B, from the confidence in the national Europe. I don't know whether this has to do with that, this is part of life.
Two things. Number one, neither of those scenarios are aimed at splitting the European Union. On the contrary, each of them is based on the concept of unity, a union of 27 members. I mean, you should always remember that. What is the best scenario for Bulgaria? I don't think it's up to any of us to say. I think it's a decision that should be taken jointly by the Bulgarian citizens and its political corporations.
Thank you. Any more questions? 1, 2, 3. We take these three and then I will stop there. Sorry for all the others. So, which one was this one was there? Okay, one. The microphone. There is one. They stole the microphone. Okay, so I give one to you first. The microphone is there. If you don't mind, we will get to you. But the microphone is there, so quite you take it. Okay, go perfect. Sorry.
Hello, thank you, listeners. The recording from Bulgaria. My question is to our foreign minister community, and I would like to ask you, how does Bulgaria
All right, so my question is to all panelists. You talked about the beginning of the European Union and the end of the Second World War, and peace and unity for whole Europe. But right now we see that as a result of the immigration and refugee crisis, that there is a rise of right-wing and nationalistic parties in many different European countries. So my question is, do you think that this white paper would have a chilling effect? Do you think that something else should be done so that we stop this process? Or do you think that this could possibly be the end of the European Union?
First of all, thank you for the interesting speeches. My name is Kliment. I'm a student in this university, and I have two questions. First of all, how is it possible something that was created 6 years ago to be effective even now? And we can see that Brexit is a sign that the European Union doesn't work as we would like to. And second of all, the level of the speeches, which should be obviously applied, isn't a betrayal, and isn't it a sign that loyalty to the European Union isn't a value, at least from the point of view of the countries that would make any second state?
I didn't get the second loyalty. Can you repeat one loyalty?
Since we have a proposal, the two speeches, I think the countries that will remain in the second one it will be a betrayal for them. Remaining, it should be like the second, they will stay in the background, and that is not the sense of the union.
If they stay back, that's what we do. Okay. Well, I'll go to one by one, and we still to answer the issues to different extents.
It's from very prepared. It depends on what. For example, let's discuss now. It was published, and there were very interesting comments after my article in different directions. Some people wrote, we don't want the federation. Some other people will want the federation with another government, etc. Then you see, it depends on, let's say, what kind of integration you would like to participate. I'll give such an example. Today, the European Council discussed the establishment of an office of the European Public Prosecutor. There are 17 countries which would like to participate in this, let's say, policy, or in this adventure. Yes, effort. What to do? To stop the other, let's say, the other 10, they don't want. What would be the result? Either the 17 decide to go ahead and establish this public prosecutor office, or stop the process and no decision. That is why I think it's not so bad. It gives some, let's say, some stimulus, some motor to the integration. And if it works well, yeah, join it. And I think that the purpose answering this
your question, you remember the origin of the European Union. At that time, the nationalist parties were present, but were present especially at that time. I was there at that time. The rules of the results of the choice, the first part of the century. And this was the reason why all the Treaty about the Union was developed at the time. And nobody among us is so fanatic or fetishist to say that this is the solution, or to speak about peace. Nobody among us mentioned the Nobel Prize. We do, I do. So this was clear at that time. Today, because of the existence, there is more need to the rule to be confronted with foreign people, foreign brokers, and so there are reasons for the nationalist parties and patriotism, things like that, which are perfectly compatible with the European Union if there are inside the mechanism and the culture of subsidiarity. And I would like to remember that many of the leaders of the European one, and this is something very clear to understand, especially in an academic debate, and it's very difficult to solve the political action. But this has been done in part, unfortunately. This is what we're doing. But I have to say once more that it's not an exogenous part of the European population who has strange opinions. It's a part of the current debate of the last 6 years, and is perfectly compatible with the European debate, obviously avoiding to come back to the nationalism of the first part of the last century, because the results of the choice was and is quite evident.
Thank you. If we want to give one recipe of what our age immediately do and what is doable today, just today, this is our age immediately apply for membership in the Eurozone and do it as fast as possible in parallel with joining OECD. This is a recipe number one, everything else follows. The Eurozone is something like so if I don't want to make decisions or you don't want to make decisions, if you like it or not, it is the
Italian Cultural Institute, the university, the embassy, for organizing all this, all participants, and really you for staying until the end.